Before the nightmare began, this was just a small nest, tucked away in the pine forest. Raya is the mother. Right now, her entire world revolves around Keto and Nia. Keto is a bit larger, always the first to look up at any sound. Nia is smaller, weaker, constantly huddling close to her brother. But the two chicks are hungry. Raya cannot stay forever. She looks at them one last time, then steps to the edge of the nest. Her wings spread against the wind, and as Raya leaves, the nest suddenly feels emptier than ever. The two chicks begin to call out for their mother, their cries growing more frequent. Raya looks down to check on Keto and Nia, then gazes out into the distant forest. She isn't leaving because she wants to abandon them. She is leaving because they need food to survive. Before taking flight, Raya turns to look at her babies one last time. Keto and Nia remain huddled close together in the heart of the nest. Raya steps out onto the edge of the branch, spreading her wings against the morning wind. Then, she dives from the nest. And in that single moment, the nest that was once so sheltered suddenly feels emptier and more vulnerable than ever before. Huddled close together in the heart of the nest, Keto and Nia occasionally look up at the empty sky. But beneath the tree, a faint movement begins to stir. Nox slithers through the dry pine needles, slowly closing in on the trunk. He raises his head, as if tracking the scent of the nest above. Then, inch by inch, the black serpent grips the rough pine bark. High above, the two chicks only feel a slight tremor in the nest. They haven't seen Nox yet, but danger has already begun to climb. Nox is no longer on the ground. He has reached the supporting branches just beneath the nest. The black serpent tightens his grip around the pine bark, slithering inch by inch through the narrow twigs. Above, Keto suddenly freezes. The nest trembles, ever so slightly. Nia immediately huddles close to her brother, but they still see nothing. Beneath the layer of dry twigs, Nox is now inches away from the edge. A dark head slowly rises through the gaps in the branches. And from that moment on, the nest is no longer safe. Keto suddenly freezes. Beneath the edge of the nest, something is moving. Nia huddles tight against her brother. Then, Nox's dark head slowly rises through the gaps in the branches. Keto lets out a small cry, but no one answers. Nox slithers over the edge of the nest. The two chicks back away, inch by inch. Nia slips, sliding toward the very edge of the branch. Keto presses his body forward, desperately trying to hold her back. In front of them, Nox has blocked the only way out. Behind them, there is nothing but the void. Nox has moved deep inside the nest. Keto and Nia back away, but the nest is far too small to hide. Nia slips, sliding right to the edge of the branch. Keto presses his body against her, trying to hold her back, even as he shakes with fear. Nox blocks any chance of escape. Left with no choice, the two chicks can only cry out for their mother. But right now, Raya has not yet returned. Raya catches a strange cry coming from the direction of the nest. She whips her head around instantly. High above, Keto and Nia remain trapped in that tiny corner. Nox is now too close. Raya dives through the pine canopy, her wings cutting sharply through the wind. The nest comes into view ahead, but the distance is still too great. Inside the nest, the two chicks can do nothing but huddle close together. Raya drops her talons, flaring her wings to break. There are only seconds left. Raya is still rushing back, But inside the nest, Nox has closed the distance. Keto and Nia can do nothing but cling tightly to each other. Raya has the nest in her sights. She drops her talons, flaring her wings. If she is just a few seconds too late, everything might already be over. Therefore, Raya has returned. She slams down onto the edge of the nest, shielding her babies from Nox. The nest shakes violently. Keto and Nia huddle deep beneath their mother's wings. Nox still clings stubbornly to the edge of the branch. Raya stands her ground, refusing to let him advance any further. The serpent slips down to the lower branch, but he still refuses to give up. Raya shields her two chicks beneath her wings. Nox shifts direction again, slithering down toward the outer edge of the nest. Nia slips, sliding right to the edge of the branch. Raya is forced to stabilize the nest while turning back to protect her baby. With just a tiny opening, Nox raises his head once more. Raya strikes instantly, lunging sideways to force him away. The serpent slips down onto a thin branch below. The battle is not yet over. Her eyes locked onto him. The nest trembles slightly as Keto and Nia huddle deep beneath their mother's wings. Nox makes one last desperate attempt to cling on. Then, the dark shadow slips away into the lower branches, far from the nest. Raya remains standing at the edge of the nest, staring down for a long moment. The dark shadow of Nox has completely vanished into the lower branches. Only then does she turn back to Keto and Nia. The two chicks are still shaking, but they are safe. Raya looks over each of them, gently nudging them back to the center of the nest. The nest is messy after the battle, but it holds together. She drapes her large wings over her two little ones, and amidst the vast forest, the nest finally falls still.